I hope you are doing well. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Cesa Adirakania and my student ID number is 2504060037. I am a student in the Chemistry Education Study Program. I was born in Bekasi on January 22nd, 2007. I come from Pemalang, Central Java, specifically from Banjardawa Village, RT2, RW 7. My dream is to become a professional chemistry teacher and educator who can make learning chemistry easier and more enjoyable for students. I really enjoy sharing knowledge because I believe that knowledge becomes more meaningful when it can benefit other people. Being able to help others understand new concepts and learning something useful gives me a sense of satisfaction and motivates me to continue learning and teaching. I choose the chemistry education program because I believe that I have a strong interest and potential in the field of chemistry. Many people think that chemistry is a difficult subject, but I see it differently. Chemistry helps us understand and analyze many things around us. Through chemistry, we learn various concepts such as solution, chemistry reaction, titration method, and many other topics that explain how substances interact in everyday life. For me, chemistry is not only about formula and conclusion, but also about developing analytical thinking and problem-solving skill. So, in this video, I will begin with a brief introduction about myself. After that, I will continue with discussion and answering several essay questions related to the topic being studied. I hope this discussion will be informative and helpful for everyone watching. Thank you for your attention and let's begin. Okay, now I would like to continue with the essay question related the everyday energy. In this session, I will explain the answer and discussion how energy works in our daily life. This question will help us understand important concepts such as potential energy, kinetic energy, and conversion of energy. Let's begin with the first question. Okay, number one. Explain the difference between potential and kinetic energy using the example of a roller coaster and Archer provided in the text. The answer is potential energy is stored energy, while kinetic energy is energy of movement. In a roller coaster, the car at the top of the hill has potential energy because of its height. When it moves downward, the energy changes into kinetic energy. In an Archer example, the drum ball stores potential energy, and when the arrow is released, the energy changes into kinetic energy that moves the arrow forward. Jadi, jelaskan mengapa perbedaan antara energi potensial dan energi kinetik menggunakan contoh roller coaster dan juga anak panah yang diberikan dalam teks. Nah, bisa kita amati dalam gambar tersebut atau can be seen in the pictures. Jadi, energi potensial itu energi yang tersimpan, sedangkan energi kinetik adalah energi gerak. Teman-teman bisa diamati bahwasanya pada roller coaster, ini kereta yang berada di puncak bumi ini memiliki energi potensial karena ketinggiannya, tetapi ketika kereta bergerak menurun bukit, energi tersebut berubah menjadi energi kinetik. Kemudian pada contoh pemanah, Pada contoh anak panah, nih, busur yang ditarik ini menyimpan energi potensial dan ketika anak panah dilepaskan, energi tersebut berubah menjadi energi kinetik yang menggerakkan anak panah ke depan. Is potential energy when the board is pulled back, it stores potential energy. When the arrow is released, the potential energy changes into kinetic energy, and kinetic energy, the arrow moves forward. The stored energy becomes kinetic energy. Okay, number two, the next question. Describe the concept of energy conservation in an inefficient process, such as shooting an arrow. The answer is in shooting an arrow, not all energy is transferred perfectly to the arrow. Some energy becomes sold, held, or movement in the arched arms. However, energy is not lost because the total amount of energy is still converted and transferred in different form. Yang artinya, jelaskan konsep kekekalan energi pada proses yang tidak efisien, seperti saat memanah. Jadi, ketika memanah, tidak semua energi itu berpindah secara sempurna ke anak panah. Jadi, sebagian energi itu bisa berubah menjadi suara, panas, ataupun gerakan pada lengan pemanah. Namun, energi itu tidak akan hilang karena jumlah energi total tetap sama dan hanya berpindah ke bentuk menjadi energi lainnya. Seperti itu. Okay, the next question number three. Analysis why energy transfer 100% efficient. The answer is energy transfer is not 100% efficient because some energy changes into other forms such as heat, sound, or vibration during the process. For example, when an arrow is released, part of the energy is absorbed by the bone and the archer arms instead of moving completely to the arrow. Can be seen in the picture. Energy transfer is not 100% efficient because heat energy, sound energy, vibration energy, or energy absorbed by the archer. Jadi, mengapa perpindahan energi itu tidak 100% efisien? Karena sebagian energi itu berubah menjadi bentuk lain seperti panas, suara, kemudian dilepaskan gitu. Seperti panas, suara, atau getaran selama proses berlangsung. Misalnya, saat anak panah dilepaskan, tidak semua energi berpindah ke anak panah. Sebagian energi diserap oleh busur lengan pemanah. Oleh karena itu, energi yang benar-benar manfaat itu lebih kecil daripada energi awal yang tersimpan. Can be seen in the pictures. Energy transfer is not 100% efficient. What happened to the energy? Heat energy, precision between the string, bow, and air production, sound energy, vibration energy, and etc. So the question number four. How does the Hoover Dam utilize gravity to generate electrical? The answer is the Hoover Dam uses gravity by storing water at a high level in Lake Mead. When the water flow downward through the sluices, its potential energy changes into kinetic energy. The moving water turns turbine, which the generated electricity for nearby stage. How the Hoover Dam generates electricity can be seen in the picture. The diagram explain how the Hoover Dam produce electricity. Yang artinya, Hoover Dam ini menghasilkan listrik dengan menyimpan air pada ketinggian yang tinggi di dalam mead. Karena berada di tempat yang tinggi, air memiliki energi potensial. Ketika air mengalir ke bawah, karena energi gravitasi, itu energi potensial berubah menjadi energi kinetik. Aliran air tersebut memutar turbin dan turbin menghasilkan listrik. Have heard it, potential. Okay, finally, number four. Two, three, four, five. Number five, why did the Hoover Dam produce its Higgs amount of the energy in 1984, and why has its energy generated district recently? The answer is the Hoover Dam produced the Higgs amount of energy in 1984 because flood increased the water level in Lake Mead. Recently, energy production has declined because the American South has experienced long periods of drought, causing lower water and levels power generation. Ya, artinya Dam ini menghasilkan energi paling tinggi pada tahun 1984 karena permukaan air di dalam Melbourne itu lebih tinggi pada saat itu. Permukaan air yang lebih tinggi itu berarti energi potensialnya juga lebih besar dan aliran air yang lebih kuat memutar turbin. Namun belakangan ini produksi energi ini menurun karena periode kekeringan yang panjang menyebabkan permukaan air di Danau Mid itu turun sehingga air yang tersedia untuk menghasilkan listrik itu menjadi sedikit. Oke, the next and in conclusion, energy can be transferred and transformed into different form. But not all transfer are completely efficient. We also learned how gravity can be used to generate electricity through hydroelectric power systems, such the Hoover Dam. So thank you for attention. I hope my explanation is useful. See you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.